Title belts to Hall of Fame. Doug and Tommy carved the name. Fists of fury and hearts of gold. Every story, every fight retold. Tales of glory, laughter, cry. Tennessee warriors with hearts open wide. In the ring or on the air, legends living without a care. On the mic they roar, on the mat they soar. Dangerous conversations, fans wanting more. Podcast kings ruling the waves. Memphis Wrestling raising the stage.
Hey everybody, welcome to Dangerous Conversations with Dangerous Doug Gilbert and Tommy Wildfire Rich. Guys, it's been a while since we've had a guest, but we've got one lined up tonight, don't we, Doug?
Man, we've got a great guest tonight, and I hadn't seen him in umpteen years. And he's fixing to run a big show, and man, we want everybody to come out to see it.
Well, we want to welcome to the show right now Mr. Joel Goodhart of the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance, along with Tommy Wildfire Rich. You guys were just talking before we went on the air how long it's been since you guys had seen each other. Tommy, how long has it been since you've seen Mr. Goodhart?
1982. As many moons ago.
38 years ago. It's a long time.
Yes,
And it was, what, 1991 since I saw you last
Yep,
night?
1991. Yep. Unbelievable. Time flies when you're having fun.
Dick Slater, you had a heck of a card that night. I was getting Slater, Dominic was there. Dang, that was a big card.
Yeah, we had Heidi Lee Morgan on that card. In fact, Heidi Lee is going to be at our WrestleCon. So we had a lot of talent, but you and Dick Slater were the main event. And we have the video to prove it. So at some point, if you want, I'll show you your video.
I would love to see it.
I'll make a note. I'll get it down to you.
Hey, I would love to see it also.
Well, I will put it together. I'm not technologically savvy, but I'll get somebody to show me how to do it and send it down to you.
Okay, I'm the same way. I can't put nothing together either.
Yeah, I can't do. One thing I figured out is there's always somebody that knows this shit. All you got to do is ask a 5-year-old. Okay, I can't do it.
Yeah,
There you go. Gene, what are we going to talk about?
So we're going to talk about the big TWA One and Done event coming up May the 3rd. We've talked about it here on the show. We're going to talk about it at length here. There's not only going to be a big show that night at the former ECW arena, but there's also going to be a big convention, the WrestleCon, that afternoon. But before we get there, for our newer listeners or people who aren't familiar, we're going to give everybody a little bit of context and background on Mr. Goodhart here. So, Joel, you started up the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance. What year would it have been? That was 87. You said that was your second show. So did you start in 87?
No, the TWA started in 89. What had happened was back in 87, I believe it was 87, I started to run some shows with my partner at the time. Her name was Carmella. Tommy, you might remember Carmella because she cut your hair.
sure do. I sure do.
Yeah, she cut your hair. Anyway,
Did.
that's another story. That's another story. But Tommy, Carmella has podcasts up here, and she wanted me to get you guys up on one of her podcasts before the show. So I'll arrange that so you can talk about her hair cutting.
Okay, that sounds good. With Dave, she'll have to do that.
Okay, we'll get it set up. But yeah, so we had run a couple shows. The first show that we did was in a high school gym. Again, Dominic DiNucci was part of our operation, so he was the booker. And the first main event we had at this high school gym was Dominic DiNucci, basically at the end of his career, against the mighty Igor, and that was against the end of his career. So that match was horrendous. But also on the card, Shane Douglas was on the card. He wasn't Shane Douglas at the time, but he was on the card because he was being trained by Dominic. So we ran a couple of shows. Then we had another show at Atco, New Jersey, where Tommy was in the main event against Dick Slater with Dominic DeNucci as the special guest referee. We'd run another show where we had the main event, believe this one, Abdul the Butcher against Bruiser Brody. Wow. We had them, oh my God, they absolutely destroyed tables, chairs. They didn't care. They broke up everything. So we ran a couple shows. Then what I started to do is I ran 1 or 2 shows, again, independent by myself. Carmella had decided that she wanted to be a mom, and she had a baby, and she wanted to spend time with the baby, which in hindsight was the best move she could have made because she obviously cut their losses. But anyway, I did a couple shows that were not TWA, and then I just had a brain fart. I said, let me create something. And in my head, I created the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance because I've always believed in the truth in advertising. I didn't want to have world champions if your world is 3 cities, So it was Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware was basically the 3 states. I ran 1 show in Maryland, but basically those 3 states. So I created the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance, and this is another thing that we have on video. I got the belts made, and they were legitimate belts. And I presented the world heavyweight belt just to show everybody. And as I was walking out of the ring, literally coming down the steps, Bill Apter, who used to photograph all my shows, came up to me and said, I want you to know that PWI, Pro Wrestling Illustrated, is going to recognize your belt. And, of course, then we got listed the top 10s, in their magazine. Gave us instant credibility.
Yeah, and Bill Apter, you're right. I mean, I love Bill. He sure put me on a bunch of covers too. Bill Apter, he was the word. I mean, the magazine come out on the magazine stands. I mean, yeah, he was the man.
Yep, yeah. And Bill Apter's going to be at our show. He'll be at the WrestleCon, and he'll be there at the show that night. He's going to be in the back doing the Gene Okerlund, doing the interviews with you guys. So he'll be at the show. He's looking forward to seeing you. Flair is looking forward to seeing you because another thing he mentions, he loves Tommy Rich, and then he says, I love Medusa Michelli and Bill Apter. So,
you said Tommy first, right, Joel?
Yeah, he said Tommy first. Tommy by himself, and then Medusa, and then Bill Apter. Yep, and you'll see it. It's going to be running in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, he says that, but he loves everybody, so what that means.
God bless you, Tommy.
Anyway, that's Ric Flair. But anyway, no, Joel, this is a great deal you're doing, and I hope everybody comes out and everything, and all the guys that you book, all the great guys, the great matches. You brought all of us up there, and we sure appreciate it. And man, you was the best. Everybody says ECW. You was the original ECW.
Well, I always tell people Todd Gordon, and we get along. Todd wrote a book called Todd is God. Well, Todd is God. Well, if I created Todd and Todd is God, what's that make me?
There you go.
Okay. So, in fact, just so you'll know, Todd Gordon, he's on our poster. He'll be at the event as well. All right.
Wow.
So,
I was going to say, a big shout out to everybody in Philly when I was the big Don up there, man. I'm so excited about coming back. Yeah, Philly, that was one heck of a arena for the wrestling, man. I remember, like I said, Todd, Todd was always nice when I first come in. I was a Southern boy coming up there to the north. So I'm really looking forward to us, you bringing the show into the Philly arena, man. That's going to be cool, Joe.
Oh, it's going to be a great time. Look, once you mention Tommy Rich, it gives you a lot of credibility. Doug Gilbert, the people who follow TWA, they got credibility. And again, we're going to have enough people at that WrestleCon. It's going to be 3.5 hours. It's going to be from noon to 3:30, and people are going to be coming in and spending money. And the reality is that, again, there's a lot of names when they call us to get tickets. By the way, if you want to go online to get tickets, you just go to 2300arena.com, 2300arena.com, and you'll see the bill. So the building that we're running is the old ECW building. The ownership has changed the building. It's no longer sweaty and hot like Tommy when you were there. It's air conditioned.
Ownership.
I'm sorry.
They did change ownership. They were talking about it when I wrestled there this last time. They were talking about that, but I didn't know for sure if they was going to. So they did.
It's a legitimate, call whatever you want. It's a legitimate building. The owner really runs it well. He's got it going. He's got wrestling in there. He's got boxing in there. He has concerts in there. So it's a dinner hall as well. He's improved the food, and you'll see when you get there, you may not even recognize. You'll recognize the outside, but you may not recognize the inside.
Is that right? He's redone it, man.
Yeah.
And that's just a heck of a building there for wrestling. I'm so glad that when I was talking to Doug, and he said that's where we was going to be. Yeah, I used to love when I'd come into town wrestling in that building. So everybody out there, you got to come on out. It's going to be a heck of a night and an afternoon.
And Joel,
yeah,
like you said about us doing things, climbing the cage and everything, and me and Eddie getting on Cactus. I was the first one that jumped off what's that thing called, Gene? The crow's nest. The crow's nest. ECW wants to say they done all the stuff first. You was the one that done all the stuff first. So but I think it'd be a great show, and you're going to show a tribute or something to all of your guys that have worked for you, right?
Oh, it's going to be a phenomenal show. I mean, I can give you all the matches if you want. One of the neat things, well, I don't know if it's a neat thing. I came up with a list of 44 people who worked for me back in the day who have passed away. 44.
Is that right?
And it's a who's who. I swear to God.
Oh, and right? I bet, dang, 44 though that worked for you but passed away.
Yeah, 44, including the local guys that have passed away. We're going to be doing a 10-bell salute that day at the match. We're going to have all 44 names read and 10 bells. We're not going to do 10 bells per. We're just going to ring 10 bells. We're going to have everybody come out to honor the 44. Okay? It's just when you hear the list, if you listen to the names, Bob Ortiz, who's going to be our ring announcer, and you know Bob from ECW days.
Yeah.
Okay. He's going to be the ring announcer, and he's going to read all 44 names, and we're going to ring the bell 10 times. We're going to ask. Now, the building holds about 900 people. Our hope is that 900 people stay quiet and respect the 40. It's unbelievable. And I read the list. I get choked up about it because I worked with every one of them. And the list is just ridiculous. And, of course, the list is headed by Eddie Gilbert. Okay, but then you got, it's just Bruiser. I won't go down the list now, but it's just 44 people.
Yeah, it's shocking, amazing, especially like some of the names you just, and then I know there's quite a few more on that list too with the statuses there. And it's crazy. So many of us,
it's scary, and my hope. It sounds crazy. We have 44 names. My hope is that it doesn't become 45. Okay?
Yeah.
Between now and May 3rd, shit happens.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
It's scary. It's scary. I'm 71. We're all getting older. And a lot of us have limitations. I'm limited. I'm sitting in a wheelchair as we speak. It's scary. But, we got to keep the old school stuff still alive.
Yeah.
I don't watch the new wrestling. I have no desire because, they say they're sports entertainment. The problem is I don't see the sport and they're not entertaining. So I don't watch them. And I still live back in the day when we were running our shows where what happened in the ring meant something. Okay. Yeah. Wrestlers were able to tell a story. Okay. And
Joel, hey, Joel, what about like I said, that was the night of the cage, but what was the 3 matches that Eddie and Cactus was in? Do you remember?
Well, we had one where 2 out of 3 falls, and I think that's the one you're talking about. And what we had Eddie against
falls count anywhere. No, there was actually three falls within.
Pins count anywhere in the building. And I used to say with the TWA when we had Tri-State Wrestling Alliance, one of my sayings was that everybody in the building will have a first row seat at some point during the show. And all he needed was Eddie and Cactus, and everybody had a front row seat. So we had a pins can anywhere in the building match. Then it was followed by a stretcher match. Okay, and then you had the cage match. Okay,
and Joel had paramedics in the back, and they was having to work on them in between every match they had. I mean,
it was amazing. Now, one show before that, we had Eddie and Cactus in a barbed wire match, and in that one,
the neck deal, right?
Yeah, he flipped and got himself caught up. He wound up with 67 stitches.
Yeah, and I mean, he told me after he thought he was going to die.
67 stitches. The paramedics were working on him for an hour. One of our referees got nailed, and he was rushed to the hospital. It's unbelievable. It was unbelievable. And and again, you think back when I had the first match with Cactus and Eddie, it was the first match on the show, and it wasn't it wasn't their best match. Okay. Yeah. But you could see that there was a chemistry, and I ran with the chemistry, and I basically told them, we'll run a program forever. You're on every show I have, every major show I have. If you can make it, you're on it. If you're booked somewhere else, you're not going to work for me once a quarter. So I used to run 4 big shows a year, and it was 13 weeks roughly between shows. And what was amazing is I was running independent shows, and Doug, you were there. I drew 2,000 people. I drew 2,250 people.
Is that right?
He sure did. He sure did. It was amazing. It was like Dennis's shows when Dennis started running. I mean, Dennis was, Dennis Corlow's
sure.
Yeah,
and everything. I mean, Dennis, we'd go up there for him, and he would do the same thing. But that was after your stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because Dennis used to come to my shows. Dennis and I were friendly. All right. Dennis, at least he did it. It sounds crazy. He did it the right way. Dennis basically ran, for the most part, small shows in high school gyms,
right.
150 or 200 people, but he made money.
Right.
I did a show. Tommy, you'll love this. I did a show. Now, this is back in 89, 90. All right. I drew a show. My gate was $35,000.
Damn.
Okay. But I only made $1,500.
Because you paid everything out. Right?
I had 10 guys to 12 guys flying in. I had hotel rooms.
Oh. And
the tickets, I mean, this was back in the 80s when $35,000 was real money.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
And I used to run these big gates, but Dennis Carluzzo ran the small shows and made more money than me. So, the book I'm writing, the true aspect here is I was a lousy businessman. Okay, I was running great shows, no question. And I was always, we're all fans. I ran shows as a fan. So one of the matches, you'll like this story, Tommy. One of the matches that I had years ago, which is on tape, was Adrian Street against Jimmy Valiant. Okay. Now, at that time, I wanted as a fan. I had never seen Adrian Street wrestle. It was always down in Georgia. It was always down in Florida. It was in Alabama. He never came north of the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah.
Well, I get a hold of him through Jimmy Valiant, as a matter of fact. I get a hold of him, and I had to bribe him, and I won't go into details how I bribed him. There was something that he needed in Pittsburgh, and I flew him into Pittsburgh and had him and his wife drive across the state. But I finally got him in here against Jimmy Valiant. And Jimmy Valiant at the time was at the end of his career. Okay, in fact, in Jimmy Valiant's book, he mentions me by name, but he calls me Joe Goodhart, not Joel. But so I keep, every time I see him now, I kid him that he got my name wrong. But it was Jimmy Valiant, and that was the third match on the card. And because Adrian always came in with Linda, I had 3 air flights. I had 2 hotel rooms for my third match on the card.
Yeah.
Okay. And nobody bought a ticket to see Adrian Street, but I wanted to see Adrian. And again, he's one of the names on my list of somebody who's passed away. Okay. It's scary.
Well, was he everything that you thought he'd be?
No. Well, I'll tell you. I remember, and Tommy, you'll know this one. I remember when him and Jimmy had the feud down in Georgia. When they had the feud, they were at the height of their whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
By the time he came, you'll love this one. In the back, Jimmy Valiant came. I swear to God, it's the best line I ever heard. Jimmy says to Adrian, "I know what we got to do. Just don't put me in a hole that I can't get out of." That's it. That's like the title of a book. Okay. But they did a match. Adrian came out to his music. Again, he was past his prime, but they did the whole thing. And Linda gets in the ring and all. And anyway, the long and short of it was, no, it was a very forgetful match. But you want to know something? I can say this 35 years later. I brought Adrian Street north of the Mason-Dixon line. I wanted it. I got it.
Yes, sir. I'll tell you what, that Miss Linda, though, she was a nice lady. Yeah, Linda, valet, manager, whatever. But, yeah, she was always nice. I was young when I first broke in, and they came to Memphis. And, when I first seen him, I thought, damn. But he was pretty cool.
I'm telling you, he was a good guy. And back in the day, when he came to my show, you know, the one thing he said to me, he says, "Look, hey, I don't come north for many people. I came north for you," which I thought was pretty cool. Okay?
Yeah, I don't ever remember him going north either. He was always in the South.
Yeah, but he came north for me. Back in the day, I had a good, solid reputation for two reasons. One, my checks always cleared, okay, and that's a good reputation. And I wound up overpaying some guys because like Adrian Street, I wanted him up there. All right. So I came up with a number that would work. As it turns out, like I said, Dennis Caroluzzo made more money running small shows than I ever did on big shows.
Right. But you got to see the guys you want to see.
Yep. I was a fan first. I mean, I had at one show, I had my Bruno Sammartino. He was at the show. His son was in the show, so he managed David. But I had Bruno Sammartino. I've worked with, I can name the names. I've worked with everybody.
Joel,
all right?
Joel, was you a fan?
And you might have not have made a fortune with them big shows, but you was one of the first independents on the block doing 30 grand houses too.
Oh yeah, no question.
I understand what you're saying. There was more money in a small show, but you put on a hell of a classy show too. That not just a few people came to. I mean, it was a fun.
No, I agree. Totally agree.
Joel, when you was a kid, was you a wrestling fan?
Yeah, always. My father took me to a wrestling match back in the day at the Market Street Arena here in Philadelphia. And I had Bruno Sammartino, and I remember Spiros Arion was my guy. I loved Spiros Arion because I, for some reason, always liked the heels. And Spiros Arion I don't know what it was about him, but every time he was around, I had to go see him. So, yeah, I was a wrestling fan when I was a kid.
Cool.
So, Joel, let me ask you something here.
Yeah.
Doug, you got something else you want to ask real quick?
No. I want you to ask. I think you had something to ask.
All right, so we talk about a lot of Memphis wrestling here. I do a show with two legends of Memphis wrestling, so we spend a lot of time talking about it. And you talk about you grew up there. You're watching Bruno Sammartino and Spiros Arion and stuff like that. So I know I've heard you say in interviews over the years, and I've got these cards in front of me right now, like the show we were just talking about, September 19th, 1990. The show opens with Eddie Gilbert versus Cactus Jack. It closes with Jerry Lawler and Terry Funk. So it's kind of like you brought the Memphis style of wrestling up north, which isn't something that had really been done. Yep. Where and when did you get exposed to Memphis wrestling, and what made you think, hey, these folks up here need to see this? Okay, well, and again, a little bit of a story. But my original partner, I mentioned her name, Carmela. Carmela was very tight, loved Memphis wrestling. Okay, and she knew more about Memphis wrestling than I did. And we had a group up here called the Squared Circle Fan Club.
In fact, Brian Trammell, that you guys know, or Gene knows, Brian Trammell from Jonesboro, Arkansas, was a member of the Squared Circle fan club. So we did a couple trips down to Memphis with Jerry Lawler. And we brought about 30 people. Okay, we're talking air flights, hotel rooms, bus trips. We had everything lined up. So we started in Memphis, and Dave Brown and Lance Russell came to the breakfast to start us off. Then we would take a ride out to Jackson, Tennessee. We'd see a small USWA show in Jackson, Tennessee. Then we would ride, we'd go like back and forth, and then we would wind up in Nashville on Saturday night at the fairgrounds, which was a great place to watch wrestling. And then we would wind up Monday night at the Mid-South Coliseum. And, of course, Jerry gave us good seats, front row seats, and I was in the back, etc. And the one thing I decided to do with the TWA is not only was I exposed to Memphis wrestling, I decided that I wanted the TWA to be the best of Memphis, the best of Pacific Northwest, the best of Florida, the best of Georgia. I tried to bring in the talent. Quite frankly, I used to trade tapes. And I would watch matches. I used to watch Tommy Rich matches. They were phenomenal. Okay? And I would watch it, and I'd say, I want to have a Tommy Rich on the show. And that's when we had the opportunity to have Tommy wrestle Dick Slater. I was in heaven. Okay? So
hey, Joel, I bet,
yes.
I bet that was a great match, wasn't it?
I mean, well, like I said, I'll send you the tape. It was, let's put it as a fan, and I don't know if Tommy can appreciate this or not, but as a fan, I'm sitting there and I'm saying to myself, I brought in Tommy. Now, Tommy didn't know me from Adam. He knew Dominic. Okay, Dominic made the phone call and got it all lined up. But I was responsible, me and Carmella, for bringing Tommy Rich against Dick Slater to a high school gym in Atco, New Jersey. Okay? Now, to be honest, you got to be nuts to do it. But we did it. It was, I'm telling you, and I loved every minute of it. All right? Now, just to go back to your question, Gene, by bringing in all the talent, you mentioned I had a match with Terry Funk against Jerry Lawler. So essentially, we had a match with the AWA former champion versus the NWA former champion. Okay? And we had that match a couple times. We ran a program. And one of the matches was a lumberjack match. And I think, Doug, you were there for that one. We actually had a fans lumberjack match, total shoot. We, as people came in, if they wanted to be a participant in the lumberjack, they had to fill out a waiver form, etc. In the back, we legitimately picked 12 names out of the hat, and those 12 people became lumberjacks. Well, Terry Funk and Jerry Lawler, if Terry Funk knew how to work a lumberjack match, you got to see it on video. Jerry would throw him out of the ring, so all the fans would throw him back in, and Terry lost his cool, almost beat the living shit out of one of our fans. and then we had one fan that everybody knew up here. His name was Stan, and Stan was giving Funk some real shit. And Terry Funk gets out of the ring, goes over the gate, and goes into the crowd, which you just don't do. Okay, no. He went in. He was going to kill him. He was going to kill him. All right, but anyway, I'm telling you, we had some great matches. And again, Tommy, if I send you some of these tapes, which I'll remember to do, you'll see some of the old school stuff, and you'll see who we had on the card. I mean, Doug was there. You see some of these matches; they were just phenomenal. I mean, think about this: we had an opening match. Opening match was Cactus Jack at the time; he was relatively new against Eddie Gilbert, and the last match was Terry Funk against Jerry Lawler, and everything in between.
Yeah.
Oh, and I can imagine that in between. That's me and Dougie talked about it. I mean, even back in the territory days, like, you might go to an independent show now that you might have the top two matches, but back then, every match from beginning to end was a match. I mean, they were good.
Well, and what's amazing, one of the things that we did do or at least I tried to do with the TWA, was promote the local talent. Well, the local talent that we had, some of the names are recognizable, but DC Drake, Johnny Hotbody, Tony Stetson, Larry Winters, those were our main event guys. Then we had Jimmy Janetti against Glenn Osborne. We had Sandman against JT Smith. We had matches. To be honest, most of the main event names, their job is done when the show starts because you sold the tickets. But then the guys that are local are the ones that keep people coming back, okay? Because they really give it all. They're trying to make a name for themselves, et cetera. And the one thing that worked for me, since I was based in Philadelphia, Bill After, George Napolitano, all the photographers from New York for the magazines, I was bringing in all the guys that they were spending fortune to go see. So now they would drive down to Philly, get the pictures, and all I told them was when the pictures ran in the magazine, just give credit to the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance, which they did. And we had photos all over the place. So the magazines and those guys, Napolitano, After, just assisted me. It's unbelievable how much they did. Hindsight, I didn't realize it at the time. But we had some good stuff going.
Joel, I looked at some stuff the other day, magazines that was out, and of all that stuff, and that was great stuff.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And if I had to do it all over again, first of all, I wouldn't. Okay, but if I had to do it all over again, I would do the same thing. I'd get the best people, biggest names. The problem today is there's not a lot of independent talent. Okay, right now everybody's being signed by TNA, AEW. They're being signed everywhere. What we're going to have on our show, we've got Rock and Roll Express is going to be at our show with Curry Morton, Ricky Morton's son is going to be there. So we have a 6-man tag for those guys. I mean, we've got a show. I have my little card here. I can go down the whole card. The names are spectacular, and that plus the icon, the WrestleCon that we're doing in the afternoon, that's loaded with names. That's ridiculous. Okay, we got Baby Doll there, and Baby Doll's daughter, Samantha Starr, is on the show. Okay, so we got Baby Doll involved. We got Medusa Michelli involved. She's a special guest referee for one of our matches. Okay, I mean, we got Missy Hyatt's coming in. So we're going to have all the females of the TWA. I mean, it's just, we're going to have a loaded match and loaded.
Could you not have done without Missy Hyatt?
I knew that wasn't going to get you over, Joel.
Hey everybody, Gene Jackson here, inviting you to check out the Retro Wrestling Review, where each week I'm joined by some great co-hosts who help me review classic episodes of USWA Championship Wrestling, and right now we are doing week-by-week reviews of 1993. But we don't just do reviews, sometimes we get a chance to interview some of the people who were there and lived it, plus do watch-alongs. It's a lot of fun, so check out new episodes that drop every Wednesday at WrestleCopia.com. And to find links to everything associated to the podcast, you can go to uswapodcast.com.
Hey guys, Ray Russell here, curator of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network, inviting you guys to listen to many of the programs here as part of the WrestleCopia brand, including, but not limited to, the Wrestling Memory Grenade, currently covering the 1988 and the WWF project. You can also listen to the Regional Wrestling Podcast, where we talk the territories. You can also listen to the Wrestling Stoop with the legend himself, Bob Roop. But that's not all. You can also check out the Puro Wrestling Academy with the professor of Puroresu, Mr. Dan Ginnity. Dan and I go back in time and cover the history of Japanese professional wrestling in the English language. And you can listen to all of those shows and more, all part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network, located over at WrestleCopia.com. That's WrestleCopia.com, and anywhere your podcast streaming needs are met. So if you're looking to support that next up-and-coming podcast brand, please consider making it WrestleCopia.
It's weird. We got so many people coming in. Every one of them hates another one. It's if I have to keep certain people in separate rooms.
No, it's not. Everybody hates her.
Okay.
But anyway, hey, Gene, it's a question you'd like to ask Joel?
So here's a card. So like May 4th, 1991, Newark, Delaware. You got DC Drake taking on JT Smith in a heavyweight title match. But two matches I would have liked to have seen on this card. Two of my all-time favorite wrestlers taking on each other. Two guys that the two of the men on the screen were very, very familiar with. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert versus Nature Boy Buddy Landel.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have been there to see that match in particular. And then another match on the card, Abdul the Butcher and Bam Bam Bigelow sounds interesting too. I want to know, tell me about how you come about knowing Eddie and how he come about, working for you. And I do want to talk a little bit before we wrap up about how you almost had Buddy Landel versus Buddy Rogers on a TWA show, which to me is just amazing to think of.
Yeah, that's it. It really is scary. We almost had the Battle of the Nature Boys, but Eddie Gilbert, if I remember correctly, and to be honest, it's been a long time. If I remember correctly, I actually got to Eddie through Lawler. Okay. I wanted to get Eddie up here. Eddie to me was a worker of workers. He was, when he ran Jerry Lawler over in the car, it was during the time that we were using it.
Hold on a second. Eddie wasn't the only one in the car.
Yeah. You know who was in the passenger seat, right?
No.
Doug Gilbert.
Really?
Doug is the one that pulled the car over and lined it up, and then Eddie jumped and did the deed. But yeah, they were together.
Well, there you go. But so anyway,
I thought Eddie killed him.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it looks great on video. Okay, and I knew the parking lot that you guys did it in, and it was. But anyway, so yeah. And
Laura always says every time it rains or starts the weather's bad, his hip still hurts.
It's unbelievable. But anyway, so I got to Eddie through Jerry Lawler, and again, I'm not exactly sure how that happened. But I'll tell you, Buddy Landel, we actually wound up giving the strap to Buddy. Buddy was able to come up to a lot of my shows, and I cut the deal with Buddy that he'll be on every show I've got. If you can make it, you're on it. So Buddy at that time was bouncing back from his demons, and we were running with it. And I wound up, Buddy Rogers was somebody who was working for us. Again, it's another contact that Carmella knew very, very close. And he was originally from South Jersey, so I got to know Buddy. And Buddy worked a couple shows that we had. And I came up with the idea of having a match against Buddy Rogers against Buddy Landel. And I tried to get Flair when Flair had left and was between WCW and WWF. Couldn't get it done. I tried. Flair worked a dinner for me on April 30th of 1989. We had a dinner representing the wrestler of the decade, and we gave a gift to Terry to Flair. Anyway, long story short, I got them to agree to a match, and it was really the hard part was getting Buddy Rogers to get into the ring because he wanted to go work out a little bit, etc. And here I created the match with the Nature Boy, the Nature Boy, Buddy Landel against Buddy Rogers. And I was just worrying about what the heck they're going to do in the ring when I have it. Well, as it turns out, that was going to be the show that never happened. That was the show that had the worst advance for ticket sales. I was going to lose an absolute fortune. Now, timing is everything. That show was scheduled for January 25th of 1992, and my girlfriend, fiance at the time, was pregnant, and my daughter was born 3 weeks later on February 5th. So I got out of the business because I had two sons already, but now the daughter was coming. It was time. I had to go back to raising a family. I had to go back to work. I'm a financial advisor by trade. I've done that for 49 years now. I'm pretty damn good at it. Me and my partner have a nice business up here. And anyway, so I just decided, you know what? I can't have the show happen. A week before, on January 18th of 92, I went on the radio. I had my radio show, Wrestling Radio, and I announced that was my last show. The card is canceled. I shut off my phone, and I just disappeared. For 17 years, nobody called me, or at least that I know of. Nobody tried to reach me. I didn't watch. Think about this one. To this minute, I have not watched a single ECW tape, not a pay-per-view, not a 1-hour show. I never watched ECW. And I created ECW by just the way this thing happened. I didn't realize at the time that I was creating history. But the reality is now I created history. And now we're going to celebrate it with Tommy and Doug coming up. We're going to have them in a tag team match. Okay, we got the Memphis Mafia coming in. We're putting them up against, I think we called it Team Extreme. And they're going to be up against Shane Douglas and a special guest. I have no idea who the special guest is. I have no idea who Shane, but Shane told me it'll be a total surprise. I have no clue. Okay, but we're going to have Memphis Mafia up there in Philly at our show at One and Done. It's going to be phenomenal.
That would be great. Now, Joel, do you know who the original Memphis Mafia was?
Yeah, well, you had Eddie.
It was Eddie, Tommy, myself,
right,
Buddy Landel, and Too Sexy Brian Christopher.
Yep. And Brian never worked for me. He was at the time he was, just Jerry's son. But
Yeah.
I mean, I had 4/5. I mean, think about this one. Eddie Gilbert has passed, obviously. Buddy Landel has passed. I mean, there's 2 more names. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brian has passed. I mean, me and Tommy were the last 2 of the 5.
Yeah, well, just stay alive till May 3rd, please.
Well, let's go past that, guys, if you can. But I see for Joel's purposes. So I don't want to spoil anything here, Joel. But I mean, I just want to see if we can get this out of you. Doug has already jumped out of the crow's nest. I have been asking Tommy now for 2 months. Is it his plan to jump out of the crow's nest on Shane Douglas at One and Done? Can you confirm or deny that's possibly going to happen this time at One and Done, or are we just going to leave that up to just let that be a surprise?
Well, let's put it this way: I'm not the booker of the show, so if
I've got a parachute, you might see me jump.
I just want, it's funny. That's one of those matches. These guys, they're all artists. Okay, Tommy's an artist. Doug, to do this business, you have to be an artist in the ring, and I have no hesitation. Doug and Tommy and Shane will do fine. I don't know who this 4th person is, but I'm assuming all 4 of them will create a piece of art, and that's what I'm looking for.
I mean, I can tell you as a fan, we talked before this went on. I'm doing everything I can to be there. The history of TWA, the history of that arena, to go up there and see my 2 buddies, Doug and Tommy, up there wrestling on this big event on that stage in that arena. I'm super excited about it. I can't wait. And the show's called One and Done for a reason, right, Joel? This is the first of many. Like, if you want to see TWA and this amazing legacy the show has, this is your chance. This is your one and only chance, right?
That is correct. I am not doing another show. I'm retiring from wrestling. I'm writing a book. So once the book comes out, obviously I'll go to some conventions. I'll probably see Tommy and Doug at the conventions. I'll go and sell the book. But I am not running any more shows. I believe in truth in advertising. This is my last show. I kind of figured in the history, Flair had his last match 7 times, but he had his last match. Sting had his last match. ELO, I love ELO. They had concert. They just ran and did their last concerts. They're done. So the TWA, we never really had our last show. Now, my last show that I did, I didn't realize it was my last show at the time. So I just decided, I had a brain fart, that we're going to do this. Also, Chubby Dudley, I don't know if you guys know Chubby. His name is Bay. Bay came to me, actually, because Bay came up with an idea at the 2300 Arena. They have banners. And, there's a lot of names up there that all started with me or at one point was ECW. So he came up with an idea that there's a banner that should be up there with 5 names on it, and he picked the 5 names. We were the icons, if you will, of the Attitude Era. And it's Johnny Hotbody, Tony Stetson, DC Drake, the late Larry Winters, and me. So we're going to have a banner drop. That's going to be on the second half of the show. That'll be emotional for the 5 of us for sure. But we're going to have the banner drop in the second half. We're going to have the 10-bell salute in the first half. Plus, we've got 8 matches that are just – we're going to have a ball. And
Joel, what you're saying is this one done will be Saturday, May the 3rd, big Comic-Con, and the big matches that night, and it's going to be one and done. So I just want to make sure that, hey, if you're out there listening, this is one that you won't want to miss, because I know Joel, and, hey, it's always something to see.
Yeah, we're going to have a ball, and you got Gene. The challenge is on publicly. Okay, I don't give a damn what you have to do. Okay, I'm giving you enough. It's actually, we're taping this on February 3rd. It's 3 months from today. You got 3 months to figure out a way to get your ass up to Philadelphia and see the show.
And hey, Joel, and how did you say that the people can get the tickets?
Okay, you go to 2300arena.com. You just go down on the icon. You'll see One and Done. You have the WrestleCon in the afternoon. There's separate tickets. So if you want to go to the WrestleCon, excuse me, the tickets are $20, and you can do it right online, 2300arena.com. And you can be there for 3.5 hours and see the stars of yesterday and some of the stars of today. Then the matches are going to be starting at 7:30, but the doors open at 6 o'clock. The food is excellent there, so you can grab dinner. Those tickets range anywhere. General admission is $25. Reserve seats are $35. We do have first row seats that are $100 and second row seats that are $75 if you really want to be close to the action. But the bottom line is there's ticket prices for everybody from $25 up. There's WrestleCon in the afternoon. Now, if you have a ticket to the show, not WrestleCon, we're going to have a party afterwards. We have an after party. Tommy, you may remember this. The old Marriott in Philadelphia, which was at the airport, is now a DoubleTree hotel. That's where we used to have our parties after all the shows. So we're going back to the Marriott afterwards, and everybody, we're going to have hotel rooms there. We're going to have a party afterwards. So we've got the WrestleCon in the afternoon, we got the show at night, and then we got the after party at the old Marriott in Philadelphia. We're going to have a day of fun and unbelievable, fun and done.
Somebody say something about getting fired up. Somebody after party too. Come on now. Hey.
Now, I know Tommy's not much for parties, but he might be able to be convinced to come hang out a bit.
Change the name of the Marriott to the DoubleTree because last time we was there.
I'm telling you, we're going to have a great time. It's going to be a long day, but, after all these years, it's time that we give back to the fans, which is, I think, part of this for sure.
Yes,
but, the reality is the fans are what make the sport.
Oh,
okay?
Hey, you know as well as we do. If it wasn't for them, they wouldn't be a doggone one of us.
That's it. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it again. 2300arena.com. Get your tickets. This thing is going to sell out for sure, but there's still a lot of good seats still available because it's 3 months before. Get your butt. But, Gene, the challenge is on. I want to see you not show because I'll come down to Alabama and find you.
Like I said, I've got to make it happen because I want to be up there and be a part of this. I want to double down on something you said there too, because a lot of people complain at a lot of these conventions. They got all these tiered tickets and they got VIPs and all this stuff, and it costs you a fortune. And if you can buy a $20 ticket, but you can only meet like 5 of the people or whatever. So you're saying $20 gets you into the WrestleCon, and everybody you have named off on this show who is going to be a part of this will be there. And for $20, they can get in there and potentially go and meet all these people.
Right. And they'll meet. And now the key is if you want pictures, if you want autographs, obviously there's fees and charges for that. Obviously. The reality is, everybody's there. They're just going to sit there for 3.5 hours. They're not doing it for free. They're going to do it. But the fans make WrestleCon. Okay. And the reality is all of us are in the business, whatever degree we're in the business, because of the fans. Okay, if there's no fans, there's no shows.
The fans is what made you, Joel, made Tommy, made me, made all of us. If it wasn't for the fans, they wouldn't be a show.
That's exactly right. So we're trying to, this is set up so everybody can say thank you. If somebody wants a picture with Tommy Rich, they can get it. There'll be a cost to it, but they can get the picture. If they want a picture with Doug Gilbert, they can get a picture. Bill Apter's going to be there doing an interview with all you guys. He'll be in the back. We're going to have everyone go in the back and do some. We're doing a filming of the documentary. We'll talk about all that. The bottom line is the fans are going to come out. I hope the fans that are going to come out realize that a lot of the people on our show, it's the last time they're going to be in Philly on a show. Now, for example, Rock and Roll Express has already said that this is their last year, and they have a couple shows lined up, and one of the shows is ours. But at some point, Ricky and Robert are retiring from the sport. Okay, we have one of our referees, John Finnegan. I think Tommy, you know John Finnegan is retiring. This is his last show. There's two independent wrestlers, Tony Stetson, who's one of our icons. It's his last show. He's retiring after this. And then we have another local wrestler by the name of Breaker Morant. I think you know Breaker, but Breaker, that's his last show. So we have a lot of guys who are coming in who's their last show, and some who have said that it's going to be their last year, whatever the case might be.
And that's so cool. I mean, it's kind of like, you bringing guys in, and it's guys that may not be never back in Philly, so it's kind of like a fan appreciation too. I mean, we appreciate the fans, but you bringing in guys that like to be the last. They were big fans back during the day that they might not get the chance to meet. So it's like a fan appreciation. I always love to go to these things.
Yep.
Old school fans. And what's good, like I have a look at they don't know as much about it, but it's where their parents have sat with them or their grandparents, and they watch you something. They know Doug, Tommy Rich, or whoever of old school wrestling, and so it's always cool when you get to come to these things, and especially in Philly. I know it's going to be a big one. So yeah, it's always cool. I always love it.
Now, it's going to be a lot of fun for sure.
And what's real cool, Joel, is us just getting to all see each other and see all the fans and everything. I mean, that makes things really cool.
Yep, we're going to have a ball, and it's weird. One thing I asked the wrestlers who come in, just give the show of shows. Just have a ball, do what you do best. That's one thing. I don't have to tell Tommy Rich, Doug Gilbert what they need to do.
Hey,
okay? Get in the ring, do your thing, and Shane Douglas knows what to do as well, and we're going to have a great match up there.
So don't have a Jimmy Valiant, Adrian Street match.
Not right. Well, you'll notice I didn't have Jimmy on this card, and Adrian obviously is passed away. But I go down this list of matches, and I'm telling you, it's just this show has the possibility of being one of those memorable shows because of the talent that's on here, local and national. And when you look, we have women, we've got stars. I'll make a statement here. We basically have 8 main events. Okay. And each one has a different spin, different story. We have 8 main events on the card, plus the 10-bell salute, plus the banner drop, plus the con in the day, the after party at night. I'm getting excited with 3 months to go.
Well, Gene, you got anything else that you'd like to ask Joel?
No, I think we've got everything covered. I know you did say you've got a book coming out. I know you guys are going to be releasing a documentary. I'm sure you guys are going to be shooting a lot of footage there over the course of the day and the night. So that'll be cool. But like you said, May 3rd, you got time. Save your money, get your tickets. You can go on Facebook. There's actually a Facebook event page. You can search TWA One and Done. follow that page, and you can see all the different matches and the people on the show and any updates that come up between now and then. So make sure you check that out. And Joel, we appreciate you joining us. And I'm like I said, I'm excited to see the Memphis Mafia turned loose in the old 2300 arena up there. And poor Shane Douglas don't know what he's got himself into, guys.
Hey, Gene. Last time I was there, I tore the place down. I swung that bat around and knocked the catering thing down and everything else. So I'll be happy to be back.
I was kind of wondering if your picture ain't by the door. You might have to have Joel make sure they let you in there. You may be banned from that place, honestly. But
hey, at least there's new owners.
You may have to slip that dark Patriot mask on to get in there.
At least if they got a warrant on him there, it won't be like Sisterville. I know some of my buddies up there. I know a couple of police up there. So if they got a warrant on him, I won't let him take him to jail.
So if Joel can get him in, Tommy, you'll get him out, right?
Yeah. Hey, but yeah, May the 3rd, man, big Comic-Con, big wrestling show, and then the meet and greet after, man. Hey, I am fired up, man, Joel. I'm so glad that you got us on the card.
Oh, I'm telling you, we're going to have a ball, guys. I promise.
Hey, I am too, Joel, and thanks for everything. And like Tommy said, he's so proud, and I'm glad you're having me. And last time I was there, I was a Dark Patriot, and Tommy was the Big Don and everything. But we can't wait to come back as the Memphis Mafia. The Memphis Mafia.
I'm looking forward. Just go online to 2300arena.com and get your tickets.
All right, Joel, we will be talking to you again soon, my friend. Thank you, and folks, make your plans to be there.
I promise. I look forward to seeing all you guys. Gene, all of you guys, not just 2 of them, 3 of them.
I'm going to be there. I wouldn't miss it.
You got it. Looking forward to it, guys.
Hey, good deal. Great to see you, Joel.
Take care.
Thanks,
See you,
Joel.
man.
Hey, you're welcome.
Hey, it's Bob Smith, and guess what? The Outdated Wrestling Hour is now part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. But hey, no fear, you're still going to hear the unique guests, comedy, music, authors, journalists, funny people. Who knows who's going to end up on the Outdated Wrestling Hour? Remember, it's all new and all old. So check it out in the WrestleCopia Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcasts. Listen if you know what's good for you.
This is Wrestling Nostalgia, the podcast that dives into wrestling history. Hey, wrestling fans, I'm Dave Dynasty, and if you enjoy podcasts that are knowledgeable and history-driven, then Wrestling Nostalgia is for you. With great guests and fun interviews, there are over 200 episodes in our archives. We chat with several first-time guests and often cover topics not discussed on other podcasts. Look up Wrestling Nostalgia on your favorite podcast platform and visit all of our links at linktree/WrestlePod. That is linktr.ee/RASSLEPOD. And remember, wherever you go, whatever you do, be good, be safe, and keep on growing.
Before we get out of here, I just want to take a moment to remind everyone, if you have an upcoming wrestling show, autograph signing, collector show, Comic-Con, or any event or booking that you would like to inquire about the services of Dangerous Doug Gilbert and or Tommy Wildfire Rich, just send us an email at douggilbertpodcast@outlook.com, and someone will get back to you as soon as possible to get more information on your event and do the best we can to make that happen. Also, if you are interested in advertising your event, your business, your product to the listeners of Dangerous Conversations, as well as to promote your event, business, or product across all our social media platforms, you can send that inquiry to douggilbertpodcast@outlook.com. We would love to work together with you to get that out there to the listeners of Dangerous Conversations. Remember to check out douggilbertpodcast.com. There you can find links to all things related to this podcast, as well as Doug and Tommy themselves. You'll find a link to the Dangerous Conversations Facebook page and the Dangerous Conversations Twitter, now known as X. And we're always posting content daily, involving the Gilbert family, Tommy Rich, all sorts of things from their career. We got magazine articles, videos, pictures, you name it. We're posting new content every single day. Make sure you follow so you don't miss out on any of that. Plus, you can follow Doug and Tommy's personal Facebook pages on there. Dangerous Doug Gilbert. You can search that on Facebook. You can also search Tommy Wildfire Rich. They both have Facebook pages. And Doug does have an X page as well, and you can follow them there. But if you really want to help support, you can go to the Gilbert Family Pro Wrestling Tees store, which there's a link to there on the douggilbertpodcast.com. And you can find t-shirts of Doug, Eddie, and their famous father, Tommy Gilbert, as well. Also, Tommy Rich is going to be having some t-shirts coming up very soon. Follow him on Facebook. We'll be talking about him here. But look for some cool new Tommy Wildfire Rich t-shirts coming out soon that you can partake in as well. Also, if you've enjoyed the show, please subscribe, rate, and review the show on the platform of your choice. It would really help us in building up the podcast for the future. Plus, it helps us know what you like, what you don't like, where we need to take this podcast moving forward. Also, if you want to see a whole bunch of matches, promos, and angles, a lot of the ones that you're going to hear us talk about on this very podcast, you can go and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@RetroWrestlingArchive. Of course, it's linked right there at douggilbertpodcast.com, and you will find a ton of matches featuring Eddie Gilbert, Tommy Gilbert, Doug Gilbert, Tommy Wildfire Rich. There's playlists of all them that feature hundreds of matches of each of them. So make sure you go check that out. And not just of them, there are thousands, literally, at this point, of videos from wrestling from across the territory days, you name it. If we don't have the video uploaded to our channel, we at least have organized you a playlist of just about every territory, every show that's out there. You can find it in one convenient location there on YouTube at the Retro Wrestling Archive. Plus, don't forget, you can find all things related to my popular Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast at uswapodcast.com. And last but certainly not least, we are proud to be a part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. Go on over to WrestleCopia.com to check out all the great pro wrestling related podcasts and various content that our friend Ray Russell provides you. You'll be glad you did. So thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week for another episode of Dangerous Conversations with Dangerous Doug Gilbert and Tommy Wildfire Rich.
In the heart of Tennessee, born with pride, Doug and Tommy taking rings in stride. Memphis legends never backing down, wrestling warriors, they wear the crown. USWA, glory in their veins, fighting legends breaking chains. In the squared circle they made their name. Podcast champions, it's their claim to fame. On the mic they rode, on the map they sold. Dangerous conversations, fans want to go. Podcast kings ruling the waves. Memphis Wrestling raising the stage. From title belts to Hall of Fame, Doug and Tommy carved the name. Fists of fury and hearts of gold. Every story, every fight retold. Tales of glory, laughter, pride. Tennessee warriors with hearts open wide. In the rain or on the air, legends living without a care. On the mic they roar, on the mat they soar. Dangerous conversations, fans wanting more.